Welcome to the lesson Github Security. After watching this video, you will learn how to secure sensitive information with GitHub secrets, how to configure your repository with branch protection rules and user authentication, and how to set up workflows to run automated security checks. GitHub is one of the most widely used code storing websites, enabling developers globally to host, share, and deploy their code. While GitHub might not be the primary platform for deploying web services in production, hosting code in a repository can introduce vulnerabilities that can harm your web service. A common vulnerability with GitHub is exposed secrets. Secrets can be any sensitive information used in development, such as API keys, private credentials, and SSL certificates. When secrets are hard-coded into the source code and uploaded to GitHub, hackers can extract the secrets to hack into your web service and disrupt it. One practice developers must do is to use environment variables in development. Environment variables are units of data you can use exclusively on your local device. With Node.js, you can set up environment variables in this way. First, run npm install.m to get a package that lets you use environment variables in Node.js. Next, create a file called .env in your root directory. Then, list all secrets you're going to use for your project with no spaces like this. Then, pick the file that you want to use environment variables and import the .env package. Finally, load the secret value in a variable like this. Now, when you're deploying this code to GitHub, make sure to include a git ignore file with the .env file listed on it. A git ignore file is a file that Git reads to know which files to ignore when pushing to a repository. When using a .env file, it's important to list the .env file on the git ignore file to stop it from being pushed to the repository. To list a file to ignore on git ignore, just add its file name on one line. If you need to share secrets to a collaborator on GitHub, you can also use the GitHub Secrets feature to upload secrets. When hosting your code, most hosts have a feature to upload secrets. On AWS, you can use the AWS Secrets Manager. On Google Cloud, you can use their Secrets Manager. And on Azure, you can use Azure Key Vault. Another common vulnerability with GitHub is misconfigurations. Misconfigured repositories can lead to broken access control, where a malicious user with escalated privileges can change the state and setting of a GitHub repository. To avoid broken access control, it's important to properly configure your branch settings and user authentication. To manage your branch settings, go to the repository settings, go to branches, and add branch protection rules. Some branch protection rules include required pull request reviews, status checks, and restrict who can push to the branch. To implement robust user identification, it's important to use SSH keys and personal access tokens on your Git CLI. The SSH key is a key stored on your local device to push code to your repository securely, avoiding man-in-the-middle attacks. The personal access token is also a key on your local device to verify your privilege to push code to the repository. This avoids hackers from changing the code because even if they hack into your GitHub account, they don't have your personal access token stored on your device. Finally, one of the best ways to enhance the security of your repository is to use automated workflows on GitHub Actions. GitHub Actions is a feature on GitHub that allows you to run a sequence of tasks or a workflow for events such as whenever a new version of code is pushed. To enhance the security of a GitHub repository, one of the best workflows to add is CodeQL. CodeQL is a code analysis workflow used for automating security checks to find security issues in your code. CodeQL works by first converting the code into a query database format, which captures its structure and semantics. Developers can then write and run queries against the database to identify patterns and potential vulnerabilities. To enable this workflow, go to the Actions sections on GitHub Actions, press New Workflow, and search for CodeQL. Once you find CodeQL, it will add a codeql.yaml file into your repository, which is a file used to run the CodeQL workflow. Now that the file is added, every time your repository changes, the CodeQL workflow will run and you will see the results for its security checks. Another useful workflow is Snyk. Snyk is a cloud-based platform that helps developers find and fix vulnerabilities in their open source dependencies and container images. The Snyk GitHub action integrates Snyk's vulnerability scanning capabilities directly into GitHub's workflows, allowing automated detection and reporting of security issues. To use the Snyk GitHub action, make sure you get a Snyk token on your Snyk account and save it in GitHub Secrets. In this video, you learned how to hide sensitive information using secrets on your local device in GitHub, how to configure your repository for enhanced security, and how to add GitHub Actions to run automated security checks in CodeQL and Snyk.